And literally and figuratively, a warm welcome to everyone. So we appreciate it. The weather's breaking, the sunshine is out there. It makes a difference. And very excited about today's topic, employability skills. I'm just going to give you a little framework from my perspective on this as someone who's been deeply involved with their school. And there's been a number of us, and I think everyone on this call, I would consider kind of pioneers and explorers in trying to work on this effort in our region. And the effort being when it comes to how do we truly integrate and make education interdisciplinary between career awareness and career preparation and traditional academic education. And we all know that there is a tremendous amount of pressure placed on schools for academic education. We also know that a number of us have great experience, and many on this call are career and tech prep. And there's always been, I think, probably a perceived divide between traditional academic education and career tech prep. And we've been able to really work to close that over the years. And the goal being, this is now my 8th year on the West Michigan Workforce Board and trying to work on that career pipeline. And when I listen to employers in last week's employer panel, they talk about if you can help develop these skills and the skills identified in employability skills, we can hire these people and then train them. So I'm really excited today because John Krause has really been devoting a tremendous amount of time and energy, over time on this journey as well, to be able to find how to make that interdisciplinary. And I know at Northview High School, we started probably 10 years ago. I followed some of the work of Jason Posada, who's been one of our key, people in this community, in this area doing employability skills work to blend his knowledge and experience in with a lot of other talented people. So today you're going to hear from John about how this is getting processed and put together. So literally we have the ability now, not just to talk about a transcript of a student with grades, but a digital portfolio and a way to demonstrate not just what students know from National Common Core standards or other types of things, but how we can assess their employability skills to better help that pathway leading to success for our employers, our students, and our region. So with that, I'm excited to turn it over to John Krause, who is going to share a presentation with us. John, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. And great to see so many familiar faces. Mark, we go back a long way, in terms of having these conversations, even, when I was at Comstock Park and carrying that into Kent Career Tech Center and now my current role with instructional services at Muskegon Area ISD, and this passion for how do we look at and credential students in different ways than the traditional metrics? How do we, really meet those employer needs? And I'm very excited to share, an update of, where we are relative to the Maven project. And many of you are familiar with that. It's no secret, I've been working, with this, for the better part of almost 4 years now. And our partnership with Maven and with institutions like Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals, Michigan State U of M, some of the other partners that have signed on has really been exciting. And each year at the Career Readiness Conference, we kind of share a progress report, and we're going to call this one pilot product progress and potential. And what's neat about this one is, you're not going to happen to listen to me, just kind of share the information. We've done some work to curate the voices of our educators in the field, as well as some students. And so, assuming my bandwidth holds out, and I've threatened my family not to be on any device that streams anything, so hopefully this, this will work and play well. We're really excited to share these results. One of the things that, I think I heard in reflection to the employer panel was this statement, Stephen Covey, he says, people are your most valuable asset, and only people can be made to appreciate and value. And looking at what, some of the organizations who are represented are doing to invest in their people. And I guess I would ask the question for education, is our current system doing what we can to appreciate students, or are we depreciating them? And if we're depreciating our most valuable assets because we're really not digging under the surface of what's there, then we're not going to solve the talent development and talent demand problems that are in front of us. back in 2019, pre-pandemic, we had a career readiness conference at the GOE Center, and I went back and kind of revisited some of those slides and some of sort of the benchmarks that we put out there as far as could we find a better way. And this one resonated with me, about, the current metrics. We know with the pandemic, things have been greatly distorted as far as what is on grade level. So many students have had, a loss of opportunity to learn, but it doesn't mean that their learning stopped. And how can we capture what they are able to do? And I think, we're going to talk about that here. But what I hope we can do, is really sort of convey what Mark is talking about what does a profile look like rather than a transcript for students. And we'll show you some examples. And so, in the words of our leader, Dr. John Severson, ask why, be bold and innovate. And, the question we ask is, why are students not prepared in terms of communicating, about who they are, what they can do, how their learning connects, to the needs and demands of whether that's moving into a college program, whether that's, moving into the workforce. And, maybe even they're not communicating with their parents. When I've got a 16-year-old and they say, what'd you do at school? He talks about his KTC program. He doesn't talk as much about, the academic classes. And so how do we give them the tools to talk about that? Because when we do, we provide opportunity, because if students can't do that, they're losing those opportunities you see in the box below. And, even college graduates, I think, lack some of those foundational employability skills. We're going to talk about that. So being bold, in working with a partner like Maven, who has committed to say this is a talent development solution for them and for any other company who wants to invest. How can we use technology really to leverage the ability for students to develop their soft skills, their communication skills, to speak to more what they have done, what they can do, and what they want to do. You're going to see some examples of that. And so, what is Maven? A lot of, it's sort of this evolving project, and it is a project, and the partners, have been incredible. There's some on the call here that are able to talk, or speak to what their experience have been. But it really is a talent development system, and it's really thinking about leveraging technology in a transformational way. And so we've had the opportunity to pilot, and here are two superintendents. I'm going to play their videos to share kind of their vision for their community and their strategic plan about why it's important to be a part of this pilot. So hopefully this works.
Talent 2025? 2025? That's 3 years away. It's go time. Why is it go time? Because our students deserve it. Hello, Talent 2025 West Michigan Career Conference participants. My name is Greg Helmer, and I'm very glad to talk to you about Maven, Sai Nayak, and how the Maven platform has helped transform teaching and learning here in Ravenna. But more importantly, don't listen to me, just come out and talk to our staff and our students. So the first reason, from my perspective, Maven has been a game changer for us because it's helped us shift and transform project-based learning, which is part of our district strategic plan. So we are focusing on learning by doing. And we know CEOs, supervisors, employers are asking schools to develop soft skills. And so through the Maven platform, our kids are learning how to analyze, synthesize, collaborate, communicate, present, those skills that are necessary to be successful in the future workforce. And finally, the second reason, thinking about Oxford, the tragic loss of students. There's a lot of social, emotional learning needs that we have in our public schools. Sadly, just after 2022, we lost a student here in Ravenna due to suicide. So now, using the Maven platform, we are able to assess the social, emotional needs of our students on a daily basis, providing us feedback so we can intervene and help identify those students who are in crisis or who might just need some ears to listen to. Consider coming out to Ravenna to watch project-based learning in action or to see how we're utilizing the Maven platform to identify social, emotional needs in our district. It's go time. Good luck and best wishes. Enjoy the conference.
Hi, my name is Brett Zuber. I'm the superintendent at Grant Public Schools in Grant, Michigan. We've been using Maven here for a couple of years for a variety of things, and it's just been fantastic for all of our students. More specifically, recently, we've been using it for a lot of college and career readiness, career exploration, and giving students an opportunity to delve a little deeper into what they would like to do or sample a few different things with a lot of help from our local employers too, which has been amazing. I know that a lot of our classes do visit some outside businesses in the area as well after determining an interest through Maven, so that's been great. We're in the process of updating our strategic plan for our district, something we're a little bit behind on, but we're glad to do that. And a huge pillar that we're looking at is college and career readiness, and Maven is right on top with that, spot on with that from the beginning. So we could not be happier. It's a great platform for our students to use. It allows them to get great feedback. It allows them to give great feedback and learn more about themselves than they ever thought possible. So if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Again, my name is Brett Zuber, Grant Public Schools Superintendent. Thanks a lot. Hi, my name is Brett Zuber. I'm the super.
So what did we do, in terms of this pilot? We were very fortunate, to leverage some of the work that has been happening for many years, and actually with some who've participated in the development of this, on the call. And Jason Posada, who's a part of our planning team, along with, several career educators and a lot of people, worked very hard to develop a research-based framework on employability skills called skill sets. I think the challenge, and we met with Jason back in January, Talent 2025, and Maven and myself, is getting it deployed, getting it scalable, getting it into a system that can then capture, not only deliver the learning, but also capture then the student performance in those areas. So with great fervor, we said, hey, can we take a swipe at this? Because we know employability skills are so important. So working with some districts that, as Mark said, they've been working with this, for the better part of 7 years. Some have come on board, Ravenna within the last, 2 to 3 years. Some other ones, I know, I see Tom Ellis is on the call, in Muskegon Public and working with their MCEC program. We've had some great engagements, not all necessarily from this region. So you'll see Westwood Community Schools out of Dearborn Heights, and you're going to see some pretty neat video content from some fifth graders over in the Westwood area. A school out in Colorado, middle school in rural Colorado. And so it's been exciting how this has spread through the communication of educators. What we had to do is we designed a performance task, and really we modeled this after the interview to say, if you're going to be in an interview, you're going to be asked the question, tell me about yourself. What are your future goals, educational or career-wise, and how do you see yourself growing from this opportunity? So those are questions that we believe we need our students to practice answering. It's the foundation that goes kindergarten through 12th grade in terms of skill sense as far as the employability skills. Then, we work with the educators, and this is part of the Ravenna Middle School staff. As far as some of the development and training of, how do we get our educators familiar with the system, the platform, the why of what we're doing, and then we deliver it, right? And we're still in the process. This is a pilot, it's the paint is wet. We make changes as we need to, but students log in. They're presented with, learning content, specifically in this case around the employability skill of communication. We give them some prompts to help them develop a script to start thinking about how do they talk about themselves, how do they talk about their future, and what are their learning goals. So those are the 3 questions. We give them some examples of other students. So in this case, a 5th grader and a 12th grader, you'll get to see those videos in just a second, in terms of practicing and recording those videos to put into their profile. So that becomes a part really of their record. And it really, as I think you start to hear this, it becomes their EDP. It's a spoken EDP. It's a video generation. You think about Greg and Brett. I asked them to be here. They said, I can't make the time, but I can get you the video. And so it's definitely a skill, that I think we're seeing developing with our students, sometimes not in the most productive way. So how can we do this? Before I jump into the results, let me share just a little bit of the perspective of some of the educators in the classroom.
Hi, my name is Josh Dalmatter, and I teach at Grant Middle School in Grant, Michigan. And I am currently an 8th grade science teacher, and I also teach a careers and technology class. I am currently using Maven as a light LMS in all of my science classrooms. This gives me the unique ability to make sure that each student gets the lesson the same way, regardless of whether they are here at school or they are at home. I'm also using some of the S2B modules for the career class, specifically the one that helps develop the students' EDP before they get to high school. Maven continues to adapt and change with the growing needs that we have here at Grant Public Schools. Their insight into the ever-changing educational world helps us develop the stuff we need in our classes, and the changes that they make can benefit all of the students in class. One of the things that we focus on in my careers class is soft skills, and Maven's ability to implement that into some of their modules and into the students' individual records helps them to look at and understand the need for those skills as they move forward in the future. Have a great day.
Hi everyone, my name is Carol Dooling-Ravel and I am the Career Intern Coordinator at Sparta High School. And we are using Maven in a couple of different ways. First, we're using the Split Collective Wellness Tracker to help our counselors be aware of the social emotional issues going on with our students. We also are having our kids this year upload information into the EDP portion of Maven so that we can move forward with that. And we have been using the virtual career fairs to allow kids to see different opportunities that are available in different industries. Maven has been supporting our strategic plan by helping us educate kids about careers and the things that they need to know, like really know about a career, so that they are aware of what types of classes they should ask for. Because our board has charged our staff with offering more electives for our students. We are not a large school, but we need to offer more for our students. And so we have to be very careful about how we make those choices. And Maven is helping us educate our students so that they then can ask for the courses that would be beneficial for them. And really, it's benefiting our students mostly by providing them with that background knowledge that they would not get otherwise, so that they can begin to make better, more and well-informed choices as they move forward. Hi, everyone.
So what is it that the students are developing? As the students engage in those modules, the instructions, following the script, what are they able to produce? So this is an example. We share all of our student content with permission of Danielle, who is a senior, pretty accomplished senior at Orchard View High School. And you'll see, as Mark outlined, there are certain tabs that really are starting to build the student profile. We'll get into some more of those. We'll actually log into a couple of student examples within the system. But let's see what Danielle can do with an About Me video.
Hi, my name is Danielle Blanchard and I'm a senior at Orchard View High School. I have a 4.0 GPA. I consider myself pretty hardworking. I'm involved in the Interact Club, National Honor Society. I was in chess club for a couple of years and quiz bowl for 3. And I'm starting up the poetry club this March. That is something that we do with the diatribe my sophomore and freshman year, but with COVID, they're not coming anymore, so I'm hoping to get that started. I'm very musically inclined. That is my biggest passion in life, alongside psychology. I do lessons. I teach ukulele and guitar to younger kids. I find that really fulfilling to give the gift of music to kids. It's something I'm super passionate about. I also write and record my own songs. I have a YouTube channel that just has a few songs on it, but that's something I'm also very passionate about, is writing. I've been writing since I was 13. And I also perform at the Lakeshore Arts Festival. That was my first year doing that last year, and I'm a third-year performer at the Muskegon Street Performers event, which is one of my favorite events to do. That's about me. Thank you.
So, Danielle probably doesn't need a whole lot of support. She's very accomplished. She communicates very well. I could see, as someone who's participated in a lot of interviews, just she has that ability to engage and communicate, but not every student does. So how can we leverage this tool? We'll talk about that in terms of the potential of what that means for our students. Now let's take a look at what this means for middle school. And this is Macy, who is in 8th grade. And I see Mrs. Amy Halabek is on the screen here. So Amy had a lot to do with getting this into her classroom.
My name is Macy Nelson. I go to Ravenna Middle School. I'm in 8th grade. And if you ask me today what I want to be when I'm older, I think I would want to be a physician's assistant. The reason I say that is because I think that it sounds like a fun job. And in order to get that job, I need to have at least a master's degree. And when I think of my future career, I'm most excited about helping people and doing the career I want to do. But I am also nervous about going to school for at least 6 years. And the most important thing that I could do right now to be successful is to get good grades in school and pay attention.
So again, as students are exploring this, about me video or my future video, we're really starting to hear their knowledge and awareness of what does it take to get to, that goal. And so obviously they've done the research to know what does it take in terms of having that type of career as far as advanced degrees. One of the things that we ask the students to do is talk about their more immediate learning goals. And so this is Savannah.
My name is Savannah and I go to Ravenna Middle School. I'm in 8th grade. My current learning goal is to learn American Sign Language. The reason I've chosen this as my learning goal is because I want to be able to communicate with deaf people. My plan to achieve this goal is to watch sign language videos each day for about 10 to 15 minutes. Finally, I will monitor my progress towards achieving this goal by finding time in my day to practice sign language.
So one of the things that we're really trying to also coach and encourage through the process is a goal setting process, a SMART goal setting progress of how will I achieve this goal? How will I monitor this goal? How will I know if I'm being successful? So what does this look like in a different environment? One of the opportunities through this project in a partnership with Wayne Risa in Westwood Community Schools has been the ability to work with a couple of classrooms in one of the most challenged districts. If you were to look at the M-STEP scores of Westwood Community Schools, you would see single digits or very low single digits in terms of, are these students showing proficiency, and are we depreciating them because of that? But when you hear them speak and talk about their goals and aspirations, there's certainly more to it than that test score. And so I'm going to start with Maya here. Maya's a trip. Her video is 4 minutes long. I won't play the whole thing, but it's just you'll appreciate it.
Hi everybody, my name is Maya Williams and I go to Daly Elementary School. My grade is 5th grade, and some things about me is I live with my mom, my dad, my 3 brothers. So annoying, really gets annoying and loud. My 1 sister, she's my best friend. We hang out all the time. We're just best friends. And I have 1 dog.
I'm going to move this ahead because Maya decided to take a little
I
bit.
did use directions for the first time, but then I was like, okay, I'm not using directions no more. And I just did it all by myself. One thing I did made is a quilt. It is pretty big. It's about as big as me. I love it. It has so many different colors and it's so unique. And I had to tie each and every piece one by one by one. This took me 2 days.
So I'll stop it there. But one of the things that Maya's doing without even being prompted is actually where we're going, is talk about your reflection on learning. What have you done? What can you do? What did you know about the experience? And so it's just been very exciting, again, to see kind of what's under the surface. This is Isabel. Isabel's a student over at Thorne Elementary, which is also in.
Hello, my name is Isabel. I go to Thorne Elementary School and I'm in the 5th grade. If you ask me today about what job or career I will have when I am an adult, I believe I'll be an artist. The reason I say that is because I really like drawing, painting, and just doing art. In order for me to achieve this career, I will need to continue learning after high school. To do this, I plan to go to college. As I think about careers, the person I admire because of his job is Ichiro Oda. The reason I admire him is because I love his art style and the way he does art. When I think about my future career, I am most excited about being able to make people feel something with art. One thing I am most nervous about is not getting into a college I want.
You know, it was telling in terms of, you know, as we saw the students' video, they have post high school college goals. They really want to go to these careers. They're concerned for not even being able to pay for it, to be able to access it, to know how to get there comes through. And so how do we help mitigate that? How do we not depreciate them and appreciate them to really give them those paths? And that's what this, you know, whole project and why we're together at this conference is really all about. The other thing that comes through, especially in the communities of color, is the want to give back. Many students, you know, talk about, I want to be successful. I want to have a good job, not so much so I can buy all these nice things, but so I can share money and food with those who don't have it in my community. My guess is that comes from people who haven't had that experience or haven't had access to some of those resources. And so what's it like to not have clean water? What's it like? So again, the personality of the student, you know, their commitment, their drive really comes through, probably in a way that it doesn't necessarily come through if they're filling out a form or a survey. And so it's really been exciting, you know, with those students. One of the things, and you heard some of the educators talk about leveraging the EDP content. We really focus on, you know, not only the skill sense skills, but we really align those to ONET. So they do some exploration in ONET and learn about the 16 employability skills. And then we actually build in, you know, the evaluation tool. So teachers can conduct evaluations. You'll see some examples of that. Students can self-evaluate on what are these skills, and they can analyze jobs then and look at the importance of dependability, achievement, and effort relative to how those are ranked by the federal government in ONET. And so this is an example again of Danielle. Danielle conducted a self-evaluation, and I have the opportunity to meet once a week with Danielle. She's kind of doing a special pilot as a student in Orchard View, and gives us a little bit of feedback on what worked and what didn't work. And again, I think it was an honest evaluation, you know, as far as what she was, you know, kind of focusing on for her own goals and moving on into college next year. What about if the students don't have the skill? Is there content or curriculum? So one of the things that we have done is using some of the existing curriculum that was developed by Skill Senses, digitize that in a way that can be delivered. So in this case, this was around responsibility. And what we see then are students who are learning and reflecting on responsibility. This can be a classroom facilitated activity. And then we ask them to develop a video that has them self-evaluate and talk through some of their evaluations relative to the different components of responsibility. So we can introduce the vocabulary of what is integrity, what is follow through, what is accountable. What comes out on the other side? Well, here's Isabel again. Isabel, you know, you'll see on the left here, and we'll get into the profile, is developing competencies within her profile. So these are 2 tasks that she's completed. The conducting a market analysis was around an athletic shoe design project that we're engaged in. But she reflected on responsibility, you know, and I'll give you just a flavor of hearing her talk about how she views herself in responsibility. I'm going to move it ahead here just a little bit. So,
my best effort is given in everything I do. I do this 99% of the time. Here's why I say that. A lot of the times I do work or anything like specific, I really try my best on everything I do, so it like gets me somewhere good. Accountable. I don't let others down by not doing my part of the task. I do this 99% of the time. Here's why I say that. A lot of the times I'm doing something, I expect others to do it too, so I always try to do my part so they do their part too.
So, and I will tell you, having the opportunity to work with Isabel, she is spot on, you know, as far as her accountability and getting things done. So that, again, is sort of one of the opportunities. Here's a couple of other educators, so you can stop, you know, listening to me, and then I'll show you kind of where we're going at a middle school level with another employability skill around time management.
Hi there, I'm Jeff Wilson. I'm the high school counselor at Kent City High School, and I was asked to give a summary of how we are using Maven at our high school and middle school, grades 7 through 12. We started using it in the 21-22 school year, and the main reasons were for the wellness tracker and the weekly career or bi-weekly career fairs that we're able to create within Maven. We found the benefits to be that now we have a way to check in pretty much daily, though we ask students to do it 2 to 3 times a week with the wellness tracker in Maven. And we also run bi-weekly career fairs. I create the career fair from the career cards within Maven, and we ask our students to participate in those once every 2 weeks. We are going to start using Maven before the end of this school year for our EDPs. We in the past were using career cruising, but now Maven has a very nice form in there for student EDPs and in the process that goes along with that. So we're pretty excited to implement that here before the end of the school year. We now feel that our students are getting more consistency in the area of wellness trackers, wellness checks, career exploration, and now EDP development by using Maven. And lastly, I'd add that the customer support through Maven is outstanding. The gentleman there, when you call, they'll answer your questions, or when I email within the same day, usually within 24 hours. And so there's a lot of good benefits to that, and the program is pretty easy to use. Thank you.
My name is Adriana Mcew. I work at Cedar Ridge Middle School in Delta County in Colorado. And I just wanted to express our support for the Maven Group and their opportunities that they have offered our middle schoolers here with being able to access apps like Scribe and S2B to perform some career exploration activities and tasks that are relevant for our population and their age and our demographics. And I appreciate the support, their flexibility to meet our needs and to help us create opportunities for our students to develop some self-awareness, some employability skills, and do some planning and understand that school and careers go hand in hand to plan for their post high school education.
Hi there, I'm Jeff
My name is
Wilson.
Adriana.
So as I was mentioning, there's these tiered grade level expectations based on skill sets in terms of the progression of the acquisition of employability skills. So kind of around that middle school area is time management. I might say that, maybe it doesn't start there or end there. So what we have done is, again, using their pre-existing lessons, which really, are quality lessons as far as, classroom engagement around an article for how do students and teens time manage. Then we introduce, the technology of using a tool like Google Calendar. Surprisingly, the students are using Google Classroom, but they're not very reliable in checking their email, as Amy will tell you. They're not really using their Google Calendar. Talk to Danielle, and she said, I use a planner and whatnot. And so how can we start introducing some of these technology skills? So through a short learning module, then students engage in the career or in the ability to plan a week out of what their after school time looks like. Many of you may be familiar with the career fairs, and you've heard some of the educators mention that, but now what we're doing is integrating, as Mark said, how does the learning align to the career in specifically a job that uses that skill? So if you were on the call last week, you heard Michelle Hall say that Meyer is working very closely, with Maven as a K-12 partner, and they've been incredible in terms of profiling their employees. This is Becky Fidowa, who is the construction project manager for Meyer. So I'll play just a little bit of what her content looks like. And this is the newer version of what we're acquiring for the career.
Hi, my name is Becky Fidowa, and I'm a senior project manager on the Meyer Properties team, primarily responsible for managing remodels. What I like best about my role at Meyer in project management is the variety of people that I get to work with, and the variety of tasks and the ever-changing construction projects that I manage. So in my role, my primary responsibilities are developing the scope and strategy of the remodel. So in the course of that, I work with several internal business partners, including Meyer leadership, design, real estate, facilities, all different kinds of internal business groups to develop the scope and strategy for each individual remodel store.
So I'll stop it there. But again, the idea being, how does what she does, align to the activity that the student did as far as their time management and planning a calendar? So not only now are we asking them, do you want to add this job or this company to your goals, but how do you see the logical connection? Something you can't Google, right? And we heard, I think the employers talk about that of, can you think critically and see those connections? And then that becomes a part of, the activity in the written exercise. So what this develops then, in this case, this is Olivia. And I'm actually going to stop my sharing and move to a different screen because I want to move into the actual platform. And so what you're seeing now, hopefully, is Olivia's profile. So, Olivia has learned how to manage her content or her demographic information. She's recorded her About Me video. She has talked about her career goals through, now she's in 8th grade, through multiple career fairs that Ravenna Middle School started last year. You can see that she started to acquire quite a listing of interest in terms of different companies, products, jobs, educational programs. She was in the first semester, so she didn't set her learning goals, but she would have. She's recorded her educational background, so building kind of that digital resume. She has had, soft skill evaluations, in fact, by Amy, who's given her feedback on how did Olivia perform in the classroom. So can we get students, objective feedback around these specific skills? Where are they strong and where do they need to improve? She also has been quite busy, and I'm sure Amy could expand that each of these job functions is a mastered skill or competency that Olivia has attempted. And if you see this other little seal here, that means Amy has validated it. So in this case, one of the things that Olivia did was engaged in her EDP module. She spoke about why that's important, gave a short video on that, and she was able to upload what her actual EDP looks like. And so this is the planning now that an 8th grader in Ravenna is doing relative to knowing who they are, engaging in exploration in ONET, along with some of the survey tools like the Holland codes, and then setting the SMART goals relative to how are they currently performing, where do they need to focus on, what's the outlook for the career that they're thinking about, and then, what's their timeline, as far as where they are now to entry into the workplace. And maybe even as important or more important is what are those action steps that can lead them or take them into, focusing on different soft skill areas as well as academic learning and experiences. And so Olivia will visit this EDP each year, as will her classmates. And this is Macy. Macy, again, has done a great job of acquiring job functions. One of the things that they did was one of those project-based learning activities where they were able to design or develop an Internet of Things device that measures temperature and humidity and reflect on that. And so these are the different steps that she followed along the way. Here's Caden. Caden has put in some work experience. If you can believe it, as an 8th grader, he's already identified that he is working in a stamping shop, with his dad. So occasionally he goes to work. So how do we start earlier and downstream with some of these experiences? But that's the profile that students are developing. If I go back here to Olivia, one of the things, employers would want to know is what tools and technologies are they encountering and acquiring? So Olivia did a budgeting and a spending plan in Google Sheets. She did the managing the Google Calendar. She worked on that IoT device and was able to connect her device to the Google Cloud. So now these are, again, demonstrated competencies. And what educational standards is she mastering? And so with the communication, of regularly reflecting on learning, and talking about, what they have done, what actual, math maybe was engaged, what are the different standards and how are they multiply demonstrated? And again, each time in the platform, it's cataloged, to be able to go archive this. So, I joke that I was the student whose mom saved everything in a folder, right? Anything I brought home, it went on the fridge. Not everybody has that. And so how do we use technology to digitally archive and again, value and appreciate students rather than depreciate them through maybe a set of test scores that they get once a year? I'm going to move back over to the presentation. And one of the pieces I think that, is really important for the business community and for schools is, so what data comes out of this? What we've lacked is a data system that not only looks at the individual, but how do we aggregate this? And so for Ravenna Middle School, they can look at, as their students are engaging in this career exploration, what career clusters are students identifying based on their experience with Amy and her careers class, or through, the various career fairs, what jobs specifically, what businesses, what institutions. And so the reporting capability, not only, here, but also what competencies have they mastered. And Amy can speak about, how we're seeing this stack up with Google technology skills, and other modules and content that the students are engaging in the platform, as are some of the other partner schools, as you're seeing this. So I'm just going to play these here really quick.
Hi, I'm Frank Marietta, and I am the principal at Ravenna Middle School. Through the Maven platform, our teachers have been able to establish and enhance authentic educational experiences that have real-world application, which is directly aligned to our district strategic plan. Teachers have broadened students' horizons, facilitated student growth in the area of career education through virtual career fairs and career cards. Specifically, teachers have been able to deliver competency-based and project-based learning activities through Maven as a learning chassis. Students are building their soft skills, employability skills, and career readiness, which is now documented and available in their student profiles for and within their educational development plan within Maven. Again, Maven has provided Ravenna Public Schools the opportunity to move forward in some of the most challenging times in our world, and certainly in education. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy Halabek, and I teach at the middle school at Ravenna Public Schools. I teach English courses across the middle school and also an 8th grade careers course. Our school uses Maven in many different ways. Our first hour elective classes use Maven to help students explore careers through the career cards that can be pushed out, and also recently have been exploring a Google module to help students learn to use the Google platform more effectively, like Google Drive and all of their documents. We also have STEM classes using it to engage in other competencies through the Grow Main Street app, where they have built an IoT device and are exploring other concepts and ideas as well. In my 8th grade careers class and in our 7th grade careers class, the students are completing the Michigan EDP module for their state requirements for career preparations. They are completing 3 lessons where they're really working in their personal record and identifying different career pathways and different interest areas. And the students are really excited to explore their interests and what careers might align with it, and to also set goals for their future. So they're really kind of creating a plan that shows them how they can get from being in 8th grade this year to the career path that they're already thinking about, and also how that works with high school. So now they know that they really need to pay attention in their classes and pass all their coursework, so that when they are juniors and seniors, they'll have other opportunities like Career Tech Center, early college, and other pathways that can help them achieve their dreams. We've also been able to make connections to our district strategic plan, including boosting our career readiness and utilizing the Google platform and project-based learning. In just over a year's time, we're seeing great results from our use of the Maven platform. Students are not only confident in using the platform and making videos and screenshots and doing the uploads, but they're also connecting with the content in various ways, and they're excited about it. I asked my 8th graders at the end of last semester what they liked about this class, what they didn't like about the class, and a lot of the things that they said really pointed back to the Maven platform. So we're really excited over just the results that we're seeing and the use from the platform and the content that the partners continue to push out. So I hope that as you engage in the platform and start to think about careers preparations, that you will see these connections as well.
So potential, where does this head? One of the challenges is it's great to have these videos, and as I mentioned, a person like Danielle is knocking it out of the park and is going to be able to share that profile, with a potential employer. What about those that can? And how does this, work with teachers to be able to manage the workload of one more artifact coming in? While they're exciting to watch, it is a time commitment. So Maven is working directly with Google in terms of leveraging artificial intelligence. We've heard a lot about that in the prior conferences in terms of how does AI transform industries? Don't think AI is not going to transform education. It's not going to replace the teacher, but AI has to be the solution to be able to make the teacher workload and the counselor workload manageable. And so how can it give assistance so the teacher or the counselor can direct their efforts to those who need it the most? That maybe, again, we've kind of used the analogy of where you are, at the Meijer checkout. Some people still need the cashier. Some people can use the self-checkout lane. Some people just scan their own groceries as they go, different levels of support. And so really leveraging the idea of, the immediacy of feedback that students can then take action on. How might those videos be read by AI, which the technology is already there and is being, kind of piloted in terms of, reading the captioning of the video, processing what the student is saying and giving feedback. So in this case, letting Zoe know she's made some good improvements over the last year, but thinking about maybe a different way to end her videos, or maybe thinking about a different background as she presents herself. How does this open Cedric's eyes to the ideas that, while it may be very exciting to be a professional athlete, what are other careers in athletics? Because he loves Odell Beckham Jr., that might be something to pursue based on some of the activities that he's engaged in, like athletic shoe design. In this case, Isabel, who you saw, is very accomplished. She can design an incredible shoe. And so she loves art. You heard her talk about that. So how can an artificial, intelligence feedback give her the career path information of what's available to her in her community, and recognize that she's earned some of those credentials already? How can it help Novella Daniels, who's the teacher, track the progress of students and make some of the arrangements so that she can, spend more time, again, working directly with students or parents by arranging those meetings or giving more immediate feedback to the teacher, take care of some of those administrative tasks? How can this provide real-time reporting for regions, for counties, for the whole state, as far as truly what is the readiness of our students relative to the skills that are embedded in the standards that are found within the Maven platform? And how can we disaggregate that by region, by gender, by grade level, and target the resources of where they need to go the most? And ultimately, how can we turn this into a one-click application for students? Because so many get lost in a process of applying in an archaic system and waiting weeks, if not months, to find out, did I get the job? When they can actually go to work for a company like Airbnb, Uber, DoorDash, and immediately, again, get money paid to them, but it's not necessarily a high-paid job, right? In terms of how do we facilitate the process for employers to connect with eligible candidates and identify them in the system and make those recommendations. That's what the project's about. It's about appreciating assets, not depreciating them. And we have some recommendations to start this very early. We've had some success with some really young students. We know literacy is a huge challenge in terms of being able to access and navigate this independently. But I do think we're on our way. And I appreciate your time, and hopefully I've left a little bit for just a few questions if those are out there.
Wonderful. Thank you, John. And yeah, I know we just have a few minutes, but I first want to say thank you for this presentation. It is amazing to see just how far and the capabilities and potential in supporting students. And also all the presenters who created videos that I see that are on the call. Just your dedication to this work is super appreciated. There are a couple questions in the chat, and I love that even Heidi responded to Cynthia's question for what the cost of Maven is, and that it's free. And the commitment is it's free now and it will always be free. But then someone asked as well, if they aren't using Maven, what are the next steps to engage and learn a little bit more?
Yeah, just, reach out to me. My contact information, is in the presentation. I can put it in the chat. And we have sort of an entry point slide deck. Anybody can have an account. Many schools already have portals. We've done a lot of that work here. And so I would say we have a user guide, thanks to Jeff Wilson, who said, I need a click by click for myself and my students. We give you that user guide. It goes from how do I log in to how do I start navigating towards those first 3 activities of the About Me, the My Future video. We always encourage the educator should do it first, right? It's a great experience to become familiar with the platform. And it also develops some great content as examples to introduce yourself to your students. So we have a lot of schools that are engaged, but just reach out to me at this point. I'll put my email in the chat and I'd love to help you out.
Very good. Megan is asking, John, for districts using other platforms for their EDP completion, what is your best advice in helping marry the college and career readiness and the Michigan career development model concepts of Maven to those also obtained in, say, Zello, Naviance, Headed to, et cetera?
Yeah, I will weigh in, but I know we have a couple people here who might have some good advice because they're living that right now. One of the things Ravenna is doing is they're starting at 7th grade, 8th grade, where it hasn't really been, that developed in terms of the EDP, and they're cohorting that up. Nobody wants to do work twice. Now, I would say that there are certainly some things here that aren't necessarily a part of those other tools, but they can live together. But I might ask Amy or Sarah Gammons. I know Sarah's navigating this with Naviance, and Kent as well. So what are your thoughts?
Thanks, John. Unless somebody else wanted to go. Yeah, we have Naviance, and we've been really sort of transitioning some of the activities between Naviance and Maven full on this year. We've always been doing quite a bit with Maven, as you know, in the past. And we're finding that the activities, like with 10th grader, we're doing the skill sense, and we're finishing them up tomorrow, actually. And they did a lot of their portfolio building earlier this year within Maven, and their response, we had a significant difference in how they responded to this activity that we've been doing in Maven as opposed to what they've been doing in Naviance, just because of the interactiveness of it. And so we're going to find ourselves continuing to transition with the EDP piece along the way. We're connected with our transcripts within Naviance, so there's that piece to it. But we're pretty much setting out our plan to do more and more within Maven platform and backing off on the Naviance as we move, and then figuring out our transcript piece. So we're excited, and we can't wait to finish up our 10th graders tomorrow on their skill sense.
Great, thanks, Sarah. So real quick, I know we just have a couple more minutes, but I know that I have a couple more questions that were direct message to me, but I'm wondering if, Randy, if you're able to put in the chat the link to the survey. And if we don't have time to answer your questions and you take that survey, if you want to identify what your questions might be, when we follow up with the presentation recording and materials, we'll be sure to answer those. John, the question is from a district who's considering moving towards competency-based education and the challenge of kind of cataloging or documenting competencies or badges. And then hearing how Ravenna students built, say, an IoT device, which is a very highly technical skill, and then earned a seal or badge. Can schools customize their own projects, project-based learning, competency-based learning, et cetera, in the platform based on their own desired competencies?
Yes, to a degree. So there are some pre-developed learning modules. The IoT kit really was a byproduct of Ravenna being awarded the Rural Tech Project Award from the U.S. Department of Education. So that is available to everyone. It requires a kit. We're also, using this 3D printed shoe, with the students over in Detroit, and a few other districts are looking at that as well with Tinkercad. However, there is an ability to create, local content and connect it to competencies that are within the system. And so not everybody then necessarily has it. In fact, I just met with Amy and her colleague, Tracy. Tracy is a STEM teacher, and we're looking at using a pre-existing what's called an SAE kit, Society of Automotive Engineers, around a fuel cell, in capturing the student work in Maven. So it ends up aligned to standards, which SAE has already done, but all in the student profile as well as the reflections on learning. So there is a lot of customizable capability in terms of the content. But we always look at each school specifically in terms of what are you trying to do, what already exists, and how can we support that. this is a project. And so the evolution in the development of a more robust curriculum is the dream, right? We hope that there's funding to be able to bring that to reality, working with partners like MASSP, University of Michigan, Michigan State, and others, to say, how do we bring the very best content and experiences that are STEAM, or what we call BSTEAM, business, science, technology, engineering, art, into these challenge problems that students are getting very excited about, as far as the shoe design and the IoT kit. Those are just the tip of the iceberg.
Very good. Good. Well, I know we're up on time. Randy put the survey link in the chat. So if you want to respond to today's effectiveness in the presentation, but also have additional questions, we'll take a look at those here tomorrow and get back with everybody on answers to your questions as well as the materials. But again, thank you everyone for joining us on this third session of our Career Readiness Conference. And we look forward to seeing you next week for a career development model and best practices on implementing it K-12 in your own districts. Have a good evening.